For the internship, Karhik has to go to the Bangalore for 2 months. But right now, he doesn't want to leave you in this condition. Trishvika listened to everything and tears welled up in her eyes. Her little brother had indeed grown up, so much so that he was willing to make such a huge sacrifice for his sister without even telling her. Hey Lilies, this is your author Satyanshi and you are watching 3rd episode of Two Souls Written in Scars. Shower your love on this chapter 2. Trishvika ji, you are 3 weeks pregnant. The doctor's words shook the ground beneath Trishvika's feet. She was pregnant. How could she be pregnant? If she had known this news 2 days earlier, she would have been so happy. But today, this pregnancy news was shocking to her. She didn't know how to react. Seeing her silent, doctor asked, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, doctor." Trishvika came out of her thoughts. The doctor explained, "Look, Trishvika ji, you have been very stressed recently and this stress is not good for the baby. You take care of yourself. If you are mentally and physically well, only then the baby will be fine. Do you understand?" "Yes, doctor. I will take care," Trishvika said. The doctor gave her some medicine and then Trishvika came out of the doctor's cabin. She had her pregnancy report in her hands and her steps were faltering. Her eyes were filled with tears at that moment. She placed her hand on her belly and tried to feel her baby. Just then, she saw Divyansh and Shivali passing by in front of her. Both looked very happy with each other. Shivali also had reports in her hands and they went to the gynecologist's cabin. They didn't see Trishvika there, but Trishvika saw them. When they disappeared from her sight, Trishvika's gaze went back to her belly. Tears were flowing from her eyes like a waterfall. She felt like she couldn't breathe. Somehow holding onto the wall, she sat down on a nearby chair. Her hands were still on her belly. Along with her, her baby's fate was also bad. And this fact was killing her inside. Meanwhile, at the Jindal residence, Abhigyanji and Umikaji had returned home from the office. Abhigyanji looked very tense. The house staff came and offered them water. Abhigyanji took the glass of water and drank it all in one gulp. Then he rested his head on the sofa. He seemed to have a headache. Umikaji said, "Listen, I need to talk to you about something important." "Go ahead, what is it?" Abhigyanji said with his eyes still closed. Umikaji said, "I talked to Ashvi. What has happened. We can't change it. But if she keeps sitting in the sorrow, she will never come out of it. She needs to do something to keep herself busy." Abhigyanji, agreeing with Umikaji, said, "You're right. Ashvi needs to be busy. In this regard, I talked to Ashvi." Umikaji said. Abhigyanji asked, "What did she say?" Umikaji replied, "She wants to continue her studies. She wants to do an MBA and then join the family business." Abhigyanji suddenly opened his eyes and said, "What?" "Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. What is her age? Only 25. She should be allowed to study. Then she can help you in the business comfortably." Umikaji said. Tension was clearly visible on Abhigyanji's face. He said, "Umika, you know what our situation is right now. We have to repay such a huge debt within a month. Otherwise, everything will be ruined. That Akshar Purushottam will not spare us. He will definitely destroy everything. Where will I get money for Ashvi's study? Yes, Ashvi can join the office. I have no problem with that. But at this moment, I can't do anything for her studies. But what will we tell Ashvi?" Umikaji asked, worried. Abhigyanji, heading towards his room, said, "That's not my problem. You see what you have to say. I have a headache. I'm going to rest." Abhigyanji left. Umikaji also took a deep breath and got up from the sofa and left. A little while later, Trishvika arrived home. She didn't see anyone in the hall. She quietly went to her room. After entering the room, she locked the door from inside and leaned against the bed. What the doctor had just told her and then seeing Divyansh with Shivali, all of this was not leaving Trishvika's mind. She was crying her heart out at that moment. She said while crying, "Why Kanaji? Why with me? Why me? What mistake did I make that you are giving me such a big punishment? I never did anything wrong to anyone. Then why? Why me?" Why is my life like this? Trishvika's breath was becoming shallow, and in this difficult time, no one was with her. She was completely alone. Crying, she didn't even realize when she fell asleep. After a while, someone knocked on her door. The continuous knocking woke her up. She put her reports in the cupboard before opening the door and fixed her appearance. Then she opened the door. Omika ji was at door. She placed a dinner tray on the table and said, "What did the doctor say, Ashwi?" Huh? Trishvika was startled by her sudden question. Omika ji asked again, "You went to the doctor, right, beta? What did the doctor say?" Looking around nervously, Trishvika said, Mom, the doctor said that I'm feeling weak because of stress. I should avoid stress and take care of myself." Trishvika was not ready to reveal her pregnancy news to her family yet. She wasn't even ready for this baby at that moment. With her life in such a turmoil, she wasn't prepared to bring a child into this world and become responsible for its future. She needed some time to think about what she should do. After hearing her, Omika ji said, "Why do you worry so much, beta? We all are here with you. You're not alone in this. Take care of yourself." Trishvika replied, "Yeah, Mom." Omika ji continued, "And beta, I talked to your dad. He said you don't need to do MBA to join the office. You can easily join the office. But Mom, I don't know much about business. That's why I want to complete my studies first." Trishvika said. Omika ji, unable to tell her the truth, said, "Your dad said he will guide you himself, beta. Don't worry about it. And practice makes perfect." "Okay, Mom." Trishvika did not argue further. Omika ji said, "Have your dinner. Otherwise it will get cold." Trishvika responded, Omika ji left. Trishvika closed the door again. She didn't even look at the food and went to the balcony. It was getting a bit dark. She was just staring at the moon in the sky. How in just 2 days, her happy life had been completely destroyed. She hadn't even imagined 2 days ago that something like this would happen to her. And then she saw something from the balcony. Karhik's car was parked outside the main gate. Trishvika couldn't hear anything, but saw Karhik yelling at Niharika. When Karhik's car reached Jindal residence, Karhik and Niharika got out of the car. Niharika had come to meet Trishvika. But before going inside, Niharika held Karhik's hand and said, "Karhik, think about it one more time. You have worked so hard for this. Are you going to let this internship slip away just like that?" Karhik said, "What is there to think about, Neha? I have decided. And why are you worrying so much?" Niharika said, "Because I am worried about your future, Karhik. I don't want you to ruin your life." Karhik was already disturbed and Niharika's constant nagging was exhausting him. He pulled his hand away from her grip and shouted, "Can't you understand in one go, Neha? I said I won't leave Ashwidi alone. I won't go, and that's my final decision." Seeing him yell, Niharika got a little scared, but she knew Karhik was troubled. Otherwise, he would never raise his voice at her. When Trishvika saw all this, she didn't like Karhik yelling at Niharika. She went back inside her room. She didn't like Karhik's behavior towards Niharika. She would definitely talk to Karhik about this and make him understand. When Karhik saw Niharika scared, he immediately apologized, saying, "I'm sorry, Reha. I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have yelled at you. Please forgive me." Niharika said, "It's okay. I understand, Karhik. You're worried. Don't worry. I won't bring up this topic again." Karhik felt Niharika had misunderstood his intentions, so he explained, "It's not like that. You're misunderstanding me. I understand you too. You are worried about me and my future because somewhere my future is connected to yours and our future. But trust me, Neha, taking this step won't cause any problems in our future. Our future will only be bright." Niharika held Karhik's hand and smiled lovingly. "I have complete faith in you, Karhik. You will handle everything. For now, just take me to Ashwidi." A smile spread across Karhik's lips. He said, "Come on." Then Karhik took Niharika inside with him. Inside the hall, Omika ji was sitting in the hall. Seeing Niharika, she said, "Neha, you come better." Niharika touched Omika ji's feet and said, "Namaste, auntie." Omika ji also said, "Namaste, beta." Niharika said, "Auntie, I came to see Ashwidi. I was a bit worried about her." Yes, go ahead. Ashvi is in her room, Bhumika ji said. Okay, auntie. Niharika replied and headed towards Trishvika's room. As Niharika walked towards Trishvika's room, Karhik said, Mom, I'm going to freshen up in my room. Could you please send something to Ashwidi's room for Neha, Ashwidi and me? I'm not in the mood for dinner, but I'm really hungry. Bhumika ji looked at the clock. It was already 8 o'clock. Nevertheless, she said, Alright beta, I'll send something. Then Karhik went to his room and Bhumika ji headed to the kitchen. Meanwhile, Niharika reached Trishvika's room. She knocked on the door. There was no response from inside. Niharika kept knocking on the door. Trishvika, who was in the washroom, could hear the continuous knocking. She quickly washed her face and came out, holding a towel in her hands. She wiped the water from her face with the towel and opened the door. Niharika was standing there. She said, Dee, what were you doing? I've been knocking for so long. You scared me. A faint smile appeared on Trishvika's face. She asked, Why were you scared? I thought something might have happened to you. Niharika stopped mid-sentence, realizing what she was about to say. Trishvika walked into the room and said, Do I look so weak to you? Come inside. Niharika felt embarrassed by her words. She walked in and said, Sorry, Dee, I just got scared. Trishvika smiled and said, It's okay. Have a seat. Niharika sat on the bed and asked, Dee, how are you feeling now? Better. Trishvika replied. Niharika said, Ashwidi, what Devyansh did to you is a crime. We can send him to jail. Having an extramarital affair while being married is a crime. A bitter smile spread across Trishvika's face. She said, What's done is done, Neha. Nothing can change the reality now. Hearing Trishvika's words made Niharika angry. She said, Dee, I can't believe you're saying this. Our Ashwidi wasn't this weak. How can you become so weak, Dee? That man did so much wrong to you and you are not taking any actions against him? Will you let him go so easily? No. Trishvika continued with bitterness. Absolutely not. But I don't want to give him an easy punishment with just a few months in jail. I want him to suffer just like I'm suffering right now. But I can't do this at the moment. I need to become stronger so I can face him. I need to become much stronger first. Then the story of revenge will begin. Hearing this, a proud smile appeared on Niharika's face. This was exactly what she expected from her Ashwidi, and Trishvika met her expectations perfectly. Niharika got up from the bed and hugged Trishvika, saying, Ashwidi, you are truly my inspiration. You are my role model. I am so proud of you. Trishvika patted her shoulder and, remembering something, said, If I am your inspiration, why aren't you following in my footsteps? Why aren't you standing up for yourself? Niharika didn't understand what Trishvika meant by this, so she asked, What do you mean, Dee? I don't understand. Trishvika made Niharika sit back on the bed and lovingly asked, Karhik, I saw him shouting at you very badly from the balcony today. What's the matter, Neha? Now Niharika understood what Trishvika was talking about. Trying to hide the matter, she looked around and said, No, Dee, there's nothing like that. We just had a small argument. That's all. Trishvika catch the lie in the Niharika's wandering eyes. She cupped Niharika's face in her hands and said, I've known you for years, Neha. I can tell you when you are telling the truth and when you are lying. Tell me, what's the matter that's making you hide it from your sister? Niharika looked into Trishvika's eyes for a moment. Truly, Karhik and Trishvika were the only two people who could read her eyes. But she couldn't break the promise she made to Karhik. So she quickly looked away and said, No, Dee, you're overthinking. There's nothing like that. When Trishvika saw that Niharika was not ready to tell her the truth, she took a final approach. She said, If that's the case, Neha, then swear on me and say that I'm wrong. Hearing this, Niharika's face showed signs of discomfort. She said, Dee, what are you saying? A swear for such a small thing? Trishvika with a slight smile said, Now tell me the truth, Neha. I want to know why Karhik lost his temper on you. He never raises his voice to you, even when he is angry. Trishvika's words were compelling Niharika to tell the truth. Finally, she had to speak the truth. She said, Karhik got an internship at his dream company. Hearing this, Trishvika, confused, said, Really? But that's a good thing. A happy thing. I don't think he behaved that way with you because of this. Yeah. For the internship, Karhik has to go to the Bangalore for 2 months. But right now, he doesn't want to leave you in this condition. I tried to explain to him that you are not weak and we all are with you. And if you found out about this, you will be hurt. But he didn't listen to a single word I said. Then I realized he was right. Right now, you need Karhik the most, Ashwini. I don't want to come between you two. Niharika explained everything to Trishvika. Trishvika listened to everything and tears welled up in her eyes. Her little brother had indeed grown up, so much so that he was willing to make such a huge sacrifice for his sister without even telling her. Trishvika smiled and said, Don't worry, Neha. Karhik will go to the Bangalore. I'll talk to him. You don't worry at all. Niharika hugged Trishvika and said, Ashwini, you're really strong. Thank you so much. Just then there was a knock on the door. Niharika moved away from Trishvika, and when they both looked towards the door, Umika ji was standing there with a tray of snacks. Trishvika said, Mom, please come in. Umika ji entered the room and said, Here you go. Some snacks and tea for Karhik, sir. But there is no sign of the young master yet. Trishvika saw the tray contained some sandwiches and tea, along with coffee for her. She said, He'll come, Mom. He must be freshening up. Both of them just came back from the college. Neha, you also freshen up. Wash your hands and face, and then we'll enjoy these tasty sandwiches together. Okay? Niharika headed towards the washroom saying, Okay Di, I'll be right back. She went to the washroom. Umika ji noticed that the dinner she had brought for Trishvika a little while ago was untouched. She said, Ashwi beta, you didn't have dinner? You haven't even touched the plate. Yeah mom, I went to freshen up, Trishvika said, showing the towel in her hands. Umika ji picked up the dinner plate and said, Alright, for now, enjoy these sandwiches with Neha and Karhik. I'll take the dinner back. You and Karhik can eat later when you feel like it, okay? Okay mom, Trishvika replied. Umika ji took the dinner plate with her. Trishvika looked at the sandwiches and Karhik's face kept flashing in her mind. Whatever needed to be done has to be done soon. Karhik couldn't make such a huge sacrifice because of her. She wouldn't let him do that. This internship was in Karhik's dream company and the biggest opportunity of his life. As Trishvika was lost in these thoughts, Karhik snapped his fingers in front of her and said, Di, what are you thinking? Trishvika snapped back to reality. She saw Karhik standing in front of her. She said, Nothing. Karhik noticed Trishvika was alone in the room and asked, Where's Neha? She came to your room. I'm here, Niharika said, coming out of the washroom. Karhik said, Come on, let's all eat together. I'm starving. I can't wait any longer. Niharika looked at Trishvika and then joined Karhik on the bed. Karhik said to Trishvika, Ashwini, why are you standing there? Come here. Trishvika nodded and sat down with everyone. She kept looking at Karhik's face. There was no indication on his face that he was about to make such a huge sacrifice for his sister. Trishvika didn't say anything at that moment. She quietly enjoyed the sandwiches with everyone. After spending some time together, Karhik went to drop Niharika off at her house. Trishvika was once again alone in the room. She started remembering everything the doctor had told her that afternoon. Trishvika placed her hand on her belly. She didn't feel anything. She didn't feel the motherly love at all. In a lost tone, she said, I don't know, Kanhaji. Why are you doing this to me? After ending everything, why are you binding me with this child? I don't know what kind of turn you are trying to give my life. All suffering, after severing all ties with that man, why are you binding me in such a significant relationship with him? I don't understand. I feel lost. I don't know what I should do now. Should I bring this child into the world? Or should I consider it a mark of that man and not let it come into my life at all? Please, Kanhaji, show me a path. I can't see a way forward right now. Do something. As she said this, 2 drops of tears rolled down her cheeks. She truly couldn't understand why, after everything was over, such a significant turn was coming into her life that might prevent her from moving forward. If this child came into the world, there would be a bond between her and Divyansh, even if she didn't want it. She didn't want to see Divyansh connected to her life in any way. Hey Lilies, your turn to shine. What stole your heart in this chapter and what didn't? What deserves a little extra love? Share your thoughts in below. I can't wait to hear your opinion. Don't forget to like, comment and share this update with your favorite bookworms. Your support fuels our journey with this novel. Stay tuned for more twists and turns in Two Souls Written in Scars. Until then, may your dreams be filled with your favorite fictional characters. All yours, Satyanshi.